Okay, who wants to be a dummy? Okay, stand up. We're going to start with some stand up. And we're going to start off with, before we get into doing the throw, there's a little technique I absolutely love when this guy grabs my gi. So when he grabs my gi here, and this is legitimate, you could do this in a jiu-jitsu tournament, it's 100% legitimate, but it's also a pretty good self-defense technique. You know, imagine the scenario, we're having an argument, he's grabbed my shirt, he's grabbed my jacket, he's grabbed my bikini top, like whatever I'm wearing, right? He's grabbed hold of something. He thinks he's got good control of me, and in some ways he has, but what he has done is he's locked himself to me. So, I want you guys to watch this carefully. What I'm going to do with my hand, I'm going to go up the inside, and I'm going to come over. Just come to here. Go palm to palm, and I can put a shoulder lock on him right here standing. He let go, which is smart, because he may have seen this before. If you don't let go, I'm going to do this nice and calm. I'm going to go over. If he doesn't let go, it locks in even tighter. Okay? But that's locked. Let go. Get your hand out. Get your hand out. Get your hand out. Like if he tries to reach his hand out, he'll hurt his own shoulder. It's a real quick, real easy technique. And it works. In a jiu-jitsu tournament, someone grabs you like this, they come in and they grab you. He grabs me, I can very quickly get into this. And look, I just go palm to palm. You see what's happened is I've got a bar that goes down and towards his elbow. He's locked into that Americana position. All I have to do is lift this side and his face starts to grimace. Okay? I want you guys to practice this with your partners, so they're off in twos. I want you to be careful, yeah? I don't want to see anyone wrenching this on to the other person because you can hurt someone's shoulder. What's going to happen is take the pressure off a little bit, they're going to go up on their tippy toes a little bit, which is cool. When you feel pressure on, for any of you that are a little bit newer, the second you feel that pressure, tap. I'm going here, I'm going. He can tap me. He can't tap me with this hand. Maybe his hand back over, he can't reach, he can tap himself. He can tap his foot, or he can just say tap. Okay? The person who's going for the technique, nice and control, and be looking out. The second he taps, release. To release, we literally just uncircle that arm. Okay? So it's a real straightforward technique. We do it when he grabs me here, I go up the inside, over and under, palm to palm. And then all I need to do is twist. And he's going to tap. Okay? Any questions? Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So guys, this was just like a little warm-up thing, a little thing to play with. There's a whole bunch of little sneaky attacks you can do when people grip you. We're going to work through them over the weeks. I really like this one because it comes on pretty quickly. And there's not really any major downside to going for it, and it really upsets people when they've spent several months prepping for a jiu-jitsu tournament and then you tap them out with something really lame like this in the first 10 seconds of the fight.
Question on the gun. You grab, and then they go for it. If you let go fast enough, then you can do it.
Yeah, but his hips are inside, so let's look at that. Come over here. I've gone for this technique. If he's let go straight away, and we've come to here, my hips are in a really good position, so I've gone for this, I haven't got it, okay? From here, I'm in a good position to really attack at him, because my hips are pointed at the side of him. So I can go into a whole bunch of this. Let's look at an option we might have for a takedown here. I'm just gonna think of one that, I'm not gonna break your arm, I'm going backwards. So if I'm here, I'm on the inside here. From here, I can reach across to his waist, split my hips in, go straight across to a throw. So we can break straight into a hip throw here. When I've gone here, I've gone for this, but he's let go. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to finish this off. So I'm just going to carry on across, control his waist, take a grip on the other side, and from here I'm literally just going to step through, drop my hips, and lift. And this is a hip throw, like the basic hip throw we do, but from the reverse side. Okay? So normally, when I'm going for a hip throw, I'm going to break out to this side, come across here and throw him. In this case, because I went for my attack. I didn't get it. So I'm going to come inside, control his hip, control his knee. From here, I'm going to step my hips across. So my knees are going pointing forwards. I pull him onto me and lift my hips. And I get a nice throw, dropping in onto his body to control. Okay? So one last time. Go for this first technique. And up and over. He lets go. He's smart. Saw it coming. I'm going to follow in, come to his hip. Control his gi on the other side. Step my foot across. See my hips are going all the way across. I'm squaring my hips with him. Then I just straighten the hips to get the throw.
So you're not rolling over your thigh, you're rolling over your
No. This is not, I always forget the Japanese name. This is not a while I put my leg across here. This is a basic hip throw where I'm dropping my hips in. I just need to straighten. See, I did that without my hand. The hand, all that really does is help rotate it. Make sure he lands on his back. You're like, I practiced my breakthrough enough. Any questions on this?
Yes, Coach.
Good forward.
Yeah, so, hip throw. Any hip throw, I want to get in and low. Get my feet reasonably square together. Toes pointing in the same direction as the knees. Control around the hip. And all I do is just bump my hips up. As I straighten my legs and rotate the arms, he's going to flip over the top. Sorry? Yeah. What I'm doing in a throw like this is his hips are pretty much his central balance point. Men and women, a little bit different people depending on where they've laid down body fat. It's going to be a little bit different, but it's pretty close to that hip line. It's where his center of balance is. So I want to disrupt that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my hips where his hips are. Right now, he's nicely blown through his hips. I step in, my hips, as I transfer his weight, my hips now become control of the center of balance. And I just roll them over. If your opponent feels really heavy, you haven't got in and low enough. If you feel like you're lifting someone up off the ground, you need to get tighter, you need to get lower with your hips and across more with your hips. Bend your knees more. See some people, they're like that, and then they're like, I can't pop them. Yeah, you need to have your hips, legs bent, so that you can straighten them. Okay, any more questions? Let's give it a go. 3, 2, 1. So, for some of you guys, you might not have that much practice of doing judo. This might be relatively new. Someone who's done a lot of hip throws, this should be relatively natural. Okay? Don't even worry about it if it doesn't feel completely natural to start off with. It's all about practice. It's all about practicing over and over and over, getting used to these movements, getting your hips in. You know, so when we're starting off and this looks really silly, the reason for it is so that you can practice getting your hips in quickly into a throw. When you see judo done at a high level, I am not high level judo, right? When you see judo done at a high level, these guys, they're here and then they turn in and throw so damn quickly. I used to have the pleasure, used to have the pain of training with the British judo team. They came to the gym I was at to train Jiu-Jitsu with Roger Gracie. So we had Olympic level judo guys coming in on the mats. And on the ground, it would be kind of fun. They're really good at pinning you. Their submissions weren't that great, so you'd be like, oh, you know, he competed in the Olympics and I tapped it out. But you didn't want to say that out loud because then they'd catch you standing up and bounce you off the walls. And we used to have this thing that we did at the gym there, where on your birthday, we would line up like this, and they would make you throw every single person with hip toss. There'd quite often be 40 people there training, okay? So you throw 40 people, you're pretty tired at the end of it. And then you had to stand there and get thrown by all 40 of those people. And they would put the judo guys at the end. So you're like already like standing up from it, rattle around belly, and these guys would just slam you through the mat. So when we're doing these throws, these hip tosses, you know, I'm coming in, and I hip toss him. I bring him to here, and then I pretty much lower him down. when we're training here, so what I'm going to do with my training partner is I don't want to hurt my training partner. I'm not going to do it to you, and we don't have a crash mat here, but when you're actually throwing someone, you're hitting them with the plan. So when I get in and under, I throw someone, I'm driving through. My feet literally come off the ground as I put that power into that flick, and I power down. And when you get these grips that are in the person's chest, you are slamming them down with your hands. You knock the wind out of them. You go from that into attacking a submission. You can knock someone out of the throat pretty easily. You can knock them out on the mats. So in a self-defense situation, slamming someone to concrete, you can really, really mess someone up. Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on now, on the ground. We're going to move on to some guard passing. So I want to make sure as we're doing these lessons, we're looking at a mix of stand-up and ground. Okay, you could be the best ground fighter in the world, but if you can't put the fight on the ground, it doesn't really matter how good your ground game is. Okay, but the main focus of what we want to look at is on the ground. So today, I want to look at some guard passing. And this was a guard pass that was taught to me by a guy called Salvador. If you haven't heard of him, he's someone that's worth looking at video of because he's absolutely amazing, multiple-time world champion, and has trained a whole bunch of world champions. And he's a guy, he's very athletic. He used to compete in swimming at college at a pretty high level, so he's very athletic. But he trained as a lawyer. He's a real smart guy. So he's put a lot of thought into technique. And when I had the pleasure of training with him for a couple of days, what he really wanted to focus on, he said, look, there's a million ways to do everything. This is the stuff that he had found for him competing, coaching throughout the channel, and coaching his students, stuff that was high percentage. Okay, so this guard pass that I want to look at really works off of this is a low guard pass. We're going to look at standing guard passes on other days. But with this guard pass, the first thing and the most important thing is I can't pass his guard if I'm getting submitted, right? If I let stuff dangling out, if I let flow, he hooks up a choke and he's going for a choke. And then I go, okay, now I'm going to start passing the guard. I'm going to be asleep before I go past this guard, right? So first things first, I need to look out for myself. But what does that mean? That means I have to have good position, good body position, good posture. So a lot of people end up leaning too far forward, being hunched over, in which case he's going to break their posture really easily, or they end up sitting way too far back, which makes it really easy to not go backwards. So I don't want to be in either of those situations. I want to be kind of nicely in the middle of it. Okay? So the other thing is I want a neutral spine. If my back hunches, it's really easy for him to break my posture down. I'm not going to deadlift or squat with my back hunched over, so I don't want to do jiu-jitsu with my back hunched over. I've got a neutral spine. Okay? My head is up. There is nothing going on down here that I'm interested in. Okay? I don't need to look down here. I know what's down here. Okay? So, helping me with my posture is keeping my eyes going forwards. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take just one grip here with one hand. Really, this isn't pinning him down. This is just giving me a little bit of control against him popping up towards me. I can just keep him down a little bit with this hand in his solar plexus. My elbow I want to keep down into my body because if it's open here, it's really easy to just go on. It's really easy for him to break me down. Okay? So I just want to keep my elbow in with this hand neutral. Okay? So my knees open. For most people, I would say it's pretty good to stay with active toes. My toes are really messed up, so I normally stay like this, okay? Like, that's just me because like, if he's leaning there, that's a stronger position. My toes kill me if I do that, okay? So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to control his hip with my hand. I can grab his hands, grab his belt, I can grab his hip. I like to literally just put the cup of my hand onto his hip bone. Grab the pants if you want. Grab the gi, he moves independently of where his hip is. Pants, hopefully, are going to stay pretty close to his hip. Right? So I've got my nice posture position here. All I'm going to do is move my right knee I'm hitting this hip to the ground. I'm going to open my knee out like opening a door. So I open that out. You see what happens? It unlocks his hip. Okay? So at this point, I've opened this up nicely. What I'm going to do is control his knee, put his knee to the ground, and bring my knee through. I'm now over the top of this, controlling here. I'm in a nice position here, I can pass in either direction. So the first pass we're going to do today is to go this way. Take my hand, control, drop weight into my shoulder, control his face pointing that way, and do a big step back with my leg. Yep, my knee's now down close to the ground, and his hip. I can just replace my knee with my hand. And that, and inside. Hold that position for 3 seconds, you've got your points for a guard pass. So, I need to close guard. Posture's nice. Hand goes on his hip, hand on his hip. Knee comes in just slightly, just enough to disrupt that angle. Weight down for his hip. Open my leg out. Okay, you might find you go to do that and it doesn't open. If that's the case, I can break that in there. As long as I am keeping my elbow close to my body. Yeah? I don't want to get tried. But normally if you open your hip enough, it'll pop open. Control this to the ground, knee comes over the top. Round, with his armpit, drop my weight, step back, come back to the side. Okay? Any questions? Sorry?
When you go to side control, what do you do with your right hand?
My right hand, so I've come over to this position here. All I'm going to do is put my hand at his hip. And the reason I'm doing that is it keeps him there. If I just move my leg away, he can bring his legs inside.
So you're holding his hand down?
I'm not actually, I don't really hold him, I just block his hip. Just stops him closing that gap. That's all I'm doing. When I'm inside now, I always want something blocking this hip. Just about always want something blocking this hip. Because him moving that hip towards me is what's going to allow him to start escaping. Okay? So one last time real quick. Knees go. Control. Hands to hip. Knee comes in. Open out. Push this to the ground. Come up over the top. This is going to be a little bit painful. Your shin against their thigh. If I'm being anal, dropping my weight down. Really nasty. Reach around his head. Control. Step backwards, hand goes to the hip, and you see my knee's going to scoop his arm up as I come. I want to keep him compromised. Okay, let's get it going. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I love passing that way, but I love going the other way even more because it's even more uncomfortable for him. So, exactly the same start here. Grip, down. Now this works no big, just good work, okay? These stuff's sometimes a little bit easier for this kind of thing because I've got handles, but this technique works perfectly well no knee. And it's actually one of the main guard passes I'll try and do no knee. So, this hip, again, my hand's right in the solar plexus, my elbow is down. Everything that I'm focusing on, when I'm trying to make him weaker and me stronger, okay? So, look at me a second. If you're going to bench press in a gym, how are you going to be? Yeah? How's his back?
Straight.
Straight. His hips are in line, right? He's not going to bench press like this. Right?
Maybe the next trend.
Right? That's not going to be good for you. You're not going to be strong like that. If I'm going to squat, I'm going to be in this position, nice neutral spine. I'm not going to be all twisted up and try and squat. I will blow my back out. Okay? This guy's quite strong. Any of you that have had the pleasure of rolling with him, this gentleman is quite damn strong. Like he runs around carrying damsels in distress on his back for work every day.
More like Kenny.
So he's a strong dude. I don't want to put my strength against him. I'm an old man. And he's a strong, active hero of the nation. So I want to take every advantage I could possibly have. So for me, what that means, I want to try and keep my body in as neutral a position as possible. And I want to do everything possible to mess him up and put him in a weaker position. So when we start off here, this little knee across, immediately what I'm doing is I'm just changing the angle of his hips, just disrupting his hips. If he was going to bench press, he would reset. He wouldn't bench press like that. So it's a little subtle thing, but it makes a difference in his ability to resist what I'm doing. I pop this over, and I push this down. Thinking about going this way, but I got these two big old beef hooks here. This big strong guy, with shiny white teeth over here, smiling up at me. I'm thinking like this route might not be my easiest route to where I want to be. So I'm going to look at the other direction. So, when you pass the guard, you can go over a leg or you can go under it. You can't really go through it. Okay? So, I tried going over the leg this way. I'm going to go under this leg. Because it's up in the air already. He's trying to bring this across, maybe trying to like knee block me, knee shield me, make my life difficult over here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take his hand, bring that so that his leg is up on my shoulder. Okay? Now, if I was not on top of this leg, I would be at risk of him triangling me. So I need to be aware of that. But I am up on top of this leg. If he can triangle me from here, he's got octopus legs. Right? So, I'm here. I'm going to reach all the way across, take his knee on the far side. And now all I'm going to do is lean forward. So my hand's going to go to this side, just a little control of this, and I'm going to try and put his knee through his nose. Yeah? You can see the expression on his face. He is not loving this. This is not a McDonald's moment. Okay? So now all I need to do to pass is to walk my legs and settle down. He wants me to pass. He really does. The last thing he wants me to do is stay there. Don't be in a rush when you're going for these passes. He's uncomfortable. You're in a controlled position. You're kind of cooking until he's ready. If you try to go too soon, he's still got all the fight in it. So same thing, boom, I pop it open, leg goes over, arm goes back onto my shoulder, and I'm going to come around, control his knee here. And I'm just going to drive into this, drive, and then walk my hips slowly around. And I'm in a real nice side control there. His body's twisted away from me. I'm going to control his leg a little bit, his hips here. See my knees up under his hips here, my knees up under his shoulder here. Okay, we're going to come onto a submission in a second. This is a pretty straightforward guard pass, but it's really effective. The one and only thing I need to watch out for is I can't leave this side unprotected because he could triangle me, which is why I go from having my leg across here to having my hand controlling this leg. Don't let that leg be free. Okay, let's look at it one last time halfway through. In his guard. Posture. Control. Knee comes across, pop the legs over. This goes down, I go over this way. Don't like the look of this pass, so look. Hand comes back, come up. Look, I can use this hand to make sure I get a nice tight grip. Stretch him out, stretch him out, stretch him out. He's going to let you pass. Come on. Okay? Don't let go of this hand. We can use it in a minute. Okay? Questions? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody. Let's put it in for just a second. We're going to keep this technique. But I want to show you the submission that comes on the end. I also just want to show you something. Someone with a little bit more flexibility. No offense at all. But something that happens is, if the person's got good flexibility, what I'm actually aiming for is I want to put his knee against his nose. That's what I'm aiming for. I want his knee on his nose. And a couple of people have said, what if they've got really strong legs? I don't care how strong someone is. If I folded them in half, I've taken them past the point where they can push. To push, he needs me to be here. If I'm here and he's got strong legs, he's going to push and break that grip. Which is why I come in here and I drive my legs. I'm not pulling, I'm driving with my legs. Okay? So what I'm looking for is a real drive off my legs. And you know, you get people, real flexible people, they'll sit there with their knee on their nose like that. They're not in a strong position. They're maybe not as compromised as some people who've got like a little bit less flexibility through the hips, but they're still not in a position to do anything about the class. Okay? So they're really, you're still making them uncomfortable, and you can just drive that and drive that and drive that. And then what we come into is the submission on the end of this. So let's look at the technique the whole way through. Here, got my grips, hand goes to his hip, knee comes across, and I pop that over. Come over here, don't like the look of this route, so I'm going to come under and drive. Thumb inside grip, okay? So I'm already tight across here. So as I drive here, and I think I said 2 fingers inside earlier, and his thumb inside. So as I come across here, I've got a pretty tight choke on. Okay? So all I need to do to finish this choke is I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to reach underneath, reach to his shoulder, and control that and bring down that choke. Okay? And he's going to tap. Okay? My elbow just goes out and round, and I've got that tap. Okay? Now, if he's getting really lean and doesn't want to tap, I can come up and over my own wrist there and keep it tight. Okay? That's sort of tight. You also need to shoulder to press one. So let's look at this one last time. I want you guys to just practice this pass a couple more times and throw in the submission on the end. So, knee comes across, hop those legs over. Push this to the ground, come over the top. I want to go this way, but he's got good body position. I'm not feeling I can get around there nicely. So look, I swap my hands, come low, up, use this hand to get a nice grip on the gi, introduce his knee to his nose. Make it a good phrase. Yeah? I don't need to pull my head out of the way. If I pull my head out of the way, I'm coming into his strength zone. I keep it, all I do is turn my head that way, so it'll hop pass, slide pass. This is already tight. I can feel it's choking a little bit. I'm just going to reach underneath, get his shoulder, and just circle out. Maybe tap. Okay, question?
Yeah, you were going, your hand on his lapel was fingers out or fingers in?
Fingers out, thumb in.
Thumb in, okay.
Okay, so the thumb just slides up. It's just a nice controlled pivot point to grip against. Okay? Let's give this a couple of goes, then we'll get on to some sparring, okay? 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody, I just wanted to give people a couple of reps on that one. We'll spend a lot more time looking at chokes in coming weeks. So, people, I just realized for some of you this might be newer to choking. I'm calling it a choke. Technically, it's a strangulation. It's important. Choke would be cutting off the airway. What I'm doing with this is you have 2 carotid arteries. Go up this side. And that's what's going to take oxygenated blood from your lungs and feed it to your brain. Turns out our brain's kind of like having oxygenated blood. If they don't get that oxygenated blood, you go to sleep. So that's the way this works, is I'm blocking off with my blade of my hand blocks one side, and my forearm blocks the other side, is 2 carotid arteries. Once you do that, a few seconds of no oxygen to the brain, it goes into a nice, relaxing sleep. Okay? As soon as you let go, that oxygenated blood starts going back to the brain, and it's kind of like a little hard reboot on your iPhone. He's going to wake up, he's going to feel good, because like all the extra taps and stuff in his brain have been closed down. Clears the cache a little bit. He's going to wake up feeling actually pretty good. Every study that I have seen has said that there's no permanent damage from being choked out. Obviously, if you don't let go, give that a couple of minutes, oxygen starvation to the brain, dead. Okay? So it's very important to be aware of your partner. It's very important when the partner taps to let go. It's very important to be aware if they start going and making noises like that, let go. They're not going to tap now because they're asleep. Okay? It's also very important when you go out from here. In here you're training with people who know to tap, who know what's going on. Messing around with chokes with people who don't know what's going on, it's kind of not cool unless you're doing it to protect yourself. Okay? So, you go choke someone that isn't expecting it, they go to the police and report you battery, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay? Because technically, when you strangle someone, that's attempted murder. You know, straight up, I always say when I train with someone for the first time, I always go for chokes, not for arm bars and stuff like that, because it's a lot more controlled for me. If I go for an arm bar and the guy doesn't tap, I've kind of now got a decision, do I want to break their arm or not? I'm in someone's gym or they're in my gym for the first time, it's kind of not a cool decision to have. If I'm going for a choke, worst that's going to happen is they're going to go to sleep. Which on the one level, that seems like, wow, okay, yeah, gentle arm, yeah, cool. But on the other side is, go for chokes, you are technically trying to kill me. If I break your arm, you're not going to die from it. If I put a choke on and don't let it go, you are going to die. So all of this stuff is serious, okay? It's great, fantastic techniques, really good way of controlling someone, but keep it in here or use it for self-defense. Don't go messing around choking out your buddies in a bar, because then you can end up in a lot of trouble. I know you've signed out a whole bunch of disclaimers and stuff against over there, but we don't want to put those to like up in front of lawyers and stuff, because that still gets expensive. Okay?